Logic versus emotion. Ignoring that there is not a strict dichotomy between logic and emotion, and that one doesn't really even know what a thought is, it is important to state up front that civilization is a product of logic, not emotion. Anyone can emote. Emotional reasoning is the default. It takes no skill or strength of character to emote. Any animal can emote. What allows humans, and to a lesser extent the higher apes, to build labor-multiplying tools is the ability to think logically and abstractly. To be fair, this faculty allows man to conjure up things that aren't true as well, such as gods and good government. But what I often get is people telling me, that looks good on paper, but it doesn't work in the real world. And what they're really saying when they say it doesn't work in the real world is, I understand what you're saying, but I feel there are some variables that you aren't taking into account. And it's a compelling feeling, but typically the feeling is a result of some unfounded prejudices. For example, I can explain in excoriating detail the functionality of a stateless society, but the listener may feel that I am missing something, but they can't say what. And I want to stone people when they do this. This is retrograde, and this is the main problem with people today. Presuppositional feelings. This happens all the time in sports betting. Idiots take their gut. They take their gut feeling into consideration, and the result is that they get taken advantage of by professional bettors up and down the block. The brain did not evolve to deal with things as complex as intercollegiate football on an emotional level, let alone an economy. When one claims that the free market looks good on paper, but reality it leads to fill in the boogeyman here, and thus you are erecting a philosophical machina that has no bearing on reality, an appropriate response would be that it is statism that is inflexible. It is statism that is hypermodal, that postulates brittle certainties about the law and what is to be produced. It is the free market that is an emergent and dynamic web of forces. It is statism that is sterile and detached from the world. When dealing with economics, emotion is simply subsumed under supply and demand. If someone has an emotional opposition to rape, that means there is a demand for rape to be stopped. It's just part of the demand curve. It's not something special. If you don't understand that, go back to living in trees. If there is a demand for free services for people who cannot afford them, this demand will be supplied. Civilizations stem from abstract thoughts and mental constructions. It stems from concepts. The ability to save capital and plan for the future. To engage in discipline and controlling one's appetites by not buying every little gizmo or game and instead expending saved resources on production equipment, on capital. Without this, we are all just flailing and emoting masses of biomatter. Now, some humans are just that, flailing and emoting monsters. They get a ride off of the ability of others to think abstractly, and thus these monsters are able to enjoy civilization. If you are unable to think logically and either ignore or explicate your gut feelings, then please do not waste the time of people committed to logic by speaking to them. If you choose to be an ape, go back to the jungle. Civilization does not need you or any of your gut feelings.